Hey folks, Philly Boy J here, back with another video. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to make roast pork. This roast pork recipe is the bizarre. And I know a lot of people don't like pork, especially in today's time. A lot of people don't mess with pork. Y'all don't fool with pork. Y'all don't even want to be near pork. Pork is definitely not a popular meat or choice of food anymore. But for those of you who love pork like I do, y'all are going to definitely love this roast pork recipe. So make sure you give the recipe a shot. The recipe can be found in the video description box. Just click that link in the video description box. It'll take you straight to my website, PhillyJCooking.com. The recipe is printable. It's free at no cost to you. Just click that link and the recipe will appear. This here, which is what you're going to need, is a big piece of pork. That's Boston butt. Boston butt. Yeah, I think that's the pork shoulder. So make sure you have a big piece of pork. Make sure you have some chicken broth. You can use chicken broth or water. This is a combination, I think, of chicken broth and water. It may not be, but I think I put water in here. This is flour. You're going to need flour. This is all-purpose flour. You're going to need some pork gravy mix. This is pork gravy mix by McCormick. It comes in a small pack. This is white cooking wine and apple cider vinegar. This is a combination of white cooking wine and apple cider vinegar. Make sure you have some onions. These are yellow onions that I sliced. You're going to need a bunch of seasonings. For those seasonings, visit my website, PhillyJCooking.com. Make sure you have some potatoes. These are red potatoes. You can use Yukon Gold. Make sure you have some W sauce. I'm not going to try to pronounce Worcestershire sauce. Make sure you have some W sauce, some olive oil, and some butter. This is unsalted butter. Roast pork, by the way, is one of those things that I fell in love with during my adolescent years. My grandma, she would always cook roast pork for Sunday dinner, and we would eat it at the church. She never cooked it for dinner during the week for some reason. Like, she never cooked it on a Monday night or Tuesday night. It was always Sundays that she made this for dinner. And I fell in love with it. I've been loving roast pork ever since. I don't eat it that much, but I do love it. All right, y'all. So what we're going to do first is we're going to get our roast pork. We're going to place it in a roasting pan. And we're going to get a sharp knife and poke a bunch of holes into it like this. What we're going to be doing is marinating this pork overnight. I like to marinate big pieces of meat like this. Anywhere between 8 hours to 24 hours. And that's because it's really big, so you want the seasonings to seep down into the core of the meat, and that takes time. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to create a marinade, and then we're going to add the marinade to this, sit it in the refrigerator, and let it marinate for 8 to 24 hours. So in no particular order, add everything to the seasonings. That's the olive oil. This is the white wine and apple cider vinegar. And this is the W sauce. Sorry for that noise in the background. That's my refrigerator. And we're just going to give this a nice stir. Smash that bouillon cube. Break it up. Break it up really well. And give all this a nice stir. And this is our marinade. All right, folks. So what we're going to do now is we're going to drizzle the marinade over the meat. And I believe in growth. You know what I'm saying? I believe in growth. So I'm gonna be classy. I'm gonna be classy. I ain't gonna be like the old Philly Boy J. I'm gonna give y'all the new and improved Philly Boy J. So I'm gonna get this brush. I'm gonna dip it in this marinade, and I'm just going to brush the pork with this marinade, just like that. And make it look classy. Make it look classy and professional. You know what I'm saying? Look, I'm gonna just pour this marinade over this meat. Stop playing around. And I'm gonna place this in the refrigerator. You do the same. And let it sit in the refrigerator and marinate for up to 24 hours. So here's how the meat is looking after exactly 24 hours of marinating. I did let it marinate for exactly 24 hours. It's been 24 hours for me, and it's been only a few seconds for y'all, okay? Now, you don't want to marinate your meat for too long, because if you let it marinate for too long, it's going to turn into a real soft, mushy mess to the point where it's not going to even have a bite to it. And too long, in my opinion, is anything over 48 hours, which is 2 days. Smells amazing. And you can tell that it's seasoned to a T. You want every bite to be full of flavor. That's the point of marinating the meat. And also, because I added some white wine to the marinade and some vinegar, those two things would also help to not just add flavor, but to get it really, really tender. So the point of marinating is not just to infuse flavor, but to, again, get your meat nice and tender. Let's move on to the next step. All right, so I'm going to show y'all how I cut my potatoes. What I do first is peel them with a potato peeler. Like this. I'm going to cut the potatoes in half and then flip them on the flat side. We're going to slice the halves in half again. And then we're going to slice them, I guess, lengthwise. Because that was, I think, lengthwise. This is widthwise. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. All right, folks. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create our slurry for our gravy. A slurry is basically a combination of a thickener, like flour or cornstarch, and a liquid like broth, water, or fruit juice that, once placed over heat, turns into a gravy, a sauce, or a glaze, okay? So we're just going to add this flour and this McCormick pork gravy mix to this broth. Okay. We're going to give it a nice stir until it's dissolved. It don't got to be completely smooth, but try to get it as smooth as possible. All right, folks, so we're ready to add the roast pork to the oven. The oven is preheating. We're going to add the gravy that we created to the roasting pan. We're going to add the onions. That gravy smells delicious, and it's looking amazing already. Look at the color. Look at the color. Add the onions. And last but not least, add in the butter. I like to set the butter on top. Why? I don't know. PhillyboyJ does things sometimes that just don't make sense. Cooking sometimes is about what feels good. All right. So I do things sometimes that just feel good, and this just feels right. I'm going to cover this bad boy. We're going to cover our roasting pan with a lid. If you don't have a roasting pan and you're using a baking pan, cover it with aluminum foil and place it in the oven. And I'll get back with you guys when it's time to add the potatoes. Pour that juice over it just like that. And we're going to let it cook a little while longer because it's only been a few hours. But before we place this back in the oven, we're finally going to add in the potatoes. Because we're only going to be making this for like another hour or hour and a half. All right, folks, that's it. The roast pork is all done. The potatoes are nice and fork tender, but firm, not all mushy. The gravy is nice and semi-thick. I wouldn't say it's thick, but it's semi-thick. Look at that. It smells amazing. Now let me slice it really quickly so we can see how it look on the inside. Okay. Oh, it's nice and tender. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at how tender that is. Look at that. All right, folks. That's it. I'm going to put this up. I'm going to eat it tomorrow for dinner. I know it's going to be off the chain. And again, for the full recipe, visit my website, PhillyJCooking.com. You can also find me on social media. I'm on Pinterest. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Later.